Hi, friend. We're headed into the weekend. Before we go there, let's look at a clip or two from the Republican and the Democrat debate. And a poll came out showing why evangelicals are supporting Donald Trump. And there were portions of this poll that are, frankly, very disturbing. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
In a word, civility. That's what the Democrat debates have been marked by. If you've watched Hillary and Bernie have any debates, and the chances are you haven't, but if you're a political junkie like me and others, you might have seen one or two or three or four. And they're actually very civil. For whatever reason, Bernie has decided to be a good soldier, and he's not going to try and take Hillary out. Doesn't talk about her corruption, doesn't talk about her emails, doesn't talk about Benghazi, doesn't talk about her server. But one thing he is touching on is her connection to Wall Street. And just by chance, if you haven't seen this clip, which has been making the rounds, it's really quite funny. And I thought that you should see it and hear it for yourself.
One of us has given speeches on Wall Street for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I kind of think if you get paid a couple of $100,000 for a speech, must be a great speech. I think we should release it and let the American people see what that transcript was.
And I have said, and I will say again, I'll be happy to release anything I have as long as everybody else does too. Because what really is behind that question, Republicans and Democrats, is whether I can stand up to Wall Street. Well, let's have some facts instead of some rhetoric for a change.
So there you have it. Interestingly, the crowd booed when she started to give her answer. And that was the safest answer she could possibly have given. I'll release it when everyone else releases it. Now here's the implication. Maybe she didn't mean to give this implication. People who are going to speak to very wealthy, very powerful people, and then are getting exorbitant sums of money for their speaker fee. Well, they're probably not going to stand up to the people that they are speaking to. In other words, does anyone really believe that Hillary Clinton went and received a $225,000 check for giving a 20 or 30-minute speech, and that in that speech she rebuked the people in the room for their corruption, for their abuse of the rules, for taking advantage of working Americans? It's laughable. It really is laughable. And so the fact of the matter is that she probably praised them. She probably told them how great they were and how we survived the worst economic meltdown and the future looks great now because of Obama's policies. I don't know what she said. We'll probably never know what she said because she's not going to release the speech. But it was worth a laugh to show you that. Let's fast forward to just one 90-second clip that some brave soul put together from the CNN debate last night. And I was watching the debate. By the way, here I have to eat a big piece of humble pie. I said that it was going to be a blood fest. It was going to be just a brutal debate because the last one was so bad. And Rubio and Cruz are so bent on taking Trump out. Well, everyone seems to have had their advisors or their gut check, and they said no. And I was sitting there watching it, and I said to my wife, I said, this is weird. This is actually polite. This is substance, there's substance going on. And then Trump came up with the line that begins this clip. And I do want to talk about the Islam issue when we come back from watching this clip.
I cannot believe how civil it's been up here.
You told CNN, quote, "Islam hates us." Did you mean all 1.6 billion Muslims?
There's tremendous hatred, and I will stick with exactly what I said.
If you go anywhere in the world, you are going to see American men and women serving us in uniform that are Muslim.
You can be politically correct if you want. I don't want to be so politically correct.
I'm not interested in being politically correct. I'm interested in being correct.
I happen to believe in solar energy, wind energy, efficiency, renewables matter.
These laws some people are asking us to pass will do nothing for the environment, and they will hurt and devastate our economy. Do you believe that you've done anything to create a tone where this kind of violence would be encouraged?
I certainly do not condone that at all, Jim.
February 1st, knock the crap out of them, would you?
It's not me. It's usually the municipal government, the police.
At Donald's rallies recently, he's taken to asking people in the crowd to raise their hand and pledge their support.
I would probably have the embassy closed until such time as a really good deal was made and struck by the United States.
The embassy's the former consulate. It's the same building, so it could just go back to being called a consulate. We don't have to close it that way. Second of all, I don't know where Cuba's going to sue us, but if they sue us in a court in Miami, they're going to lose.
There's some in Washington who are having fevered dreams of a brokered convention. I think that would be an absolute disaster.
So we don't know what's going to happen because we still have about half the delegates to be selected.
Embrace these millions of people that now, for the first time ever, love the Republican Party.
All right. So there you have it. It was civil. Let me, two things. One is about the delegate count, and the other thing is about Islam. Let's do the delegate count first. On our website, we have a tool for you to use. Here it is right here. It's very rudimentary. All right? It's a Word document PDF that you can download into your home and you can write notes on it. It has the remaining primaries, what their date is, what state, and what the delegate count is, and if it's a proportional state or whether it's winner take all, or in a couple of cases, if the congressional districts play a role in how the delegates are counted. This is a way for you to see for yourself how this race is going. I've been listening to people. See, what John Kasich said in that clip is simply not true. All right? John Kasich said, no one knows how this is going to go. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Governor. We know you're not going to get the delegates. That was obfuscation, okay? He was dodging and thereby deceiving. The numbers are not there for Kasich or for Rubio to get the nomination. They can't do it, all right? It's a simple matter of math. With Cruz, he could do it, but he would have to turn so many states around that it would be very difficult. So that's issue number one. Issue number two about the delegates is that there's a natural constituency. I predicted to you that Cruz would win Idaho. And the reason is because Idaho is a natural constituency for him. There are people who are saying right now that if Trump wins Florida and wins Ohio this coming Tuesday, that he'll probably be unstoppable. Numerically, that's not true. He could absolutely be stopped. But the problem is that some of the days where the primaries take place, like Maryland, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Ted Cruz doesn't have a natural constituency there. And Trump is probably going to do really well and sweep a lot of those primaries. That's the problem. The numbers are still there for Ted to win. But the base, the constituency, the people that he would need to derail Trump are not there for him. So go to our website if you want to use this tool. And the other thing is that they said, I was listening to a talk show host yesterday who said if Trump loses Ohio or Florida, then he could be stopped. No, that's actually not true. If you go to our website, I'll show you that I'm going to give Kasich Ohio. In my prediction, my humble pie prediction, if I'm wrong, I give Trump Florida and I give Kasich Ohio. But I show you how that Trump is going to win, even if Trump loses Pennsylvania and Delaware as well. It's all in the numbers. It's all right there. And this tool can be in your hand for you to use. And then you can go around to your friends and be like, hey, I know this stuff. I'm just like a TV talk show host. All right, maybe not. I don't know. But go ahead and use the tool. I'll be right back. I want to talk to you about this evangelical poll, and I want to do a quick history lesson about products and trade, because I told you I would yesterday. I want to get into that today. Don't go away. Friend, we are in the middle of producing a 14-part epic television series called What Would Mohammed Do?, explaining Islam and ISIS to the West. I have a master's degree in international terrorism, and I have studied ancient Islamic texts for over a decade. And we are going to do a very paced and a very scholarly look at Muhammad's life and see the connection of his life to today's headlines. Well, we need your help on 3 levels. 1, we need help with some security measures. 2, we need help with some gear for the studio. And 3, we need help with some computers. I'm inviting you to go to the GoFundMe site that you see on the screen and watch the pilot for episode 1. You'll get a feel for what it's going to be, and I promise you, you're going to be excited. You'll be challenged, and you're going to want your friends to see it. And then after you've seen it, give what you can to help us with this project. Thank you. Steve Mitchell is the CEO of Mitchell Communications and Research. It's a polling company. And he was hired to do a poll of evangelical Christians because people have been both fascinated and troubled, disturbed by the number of evangelicals who are supporting Donald Trump. People thought going into this election cycle that Ted Cruz was going to sweep up in the South because of so many evangelicals. Do you realize that 8 out of 10 voters in Mississippi in the primary, in the Republican primary, 8 out of 10 self-identified as evangelical Christians? And yet Trump handily beat Cruz. And he beat Cruz by some 20 points with the evangelical vote in South Carolina, another heavy evangelical state. So this polling company was hired to find out what's going on. Let's face it. Donald Trump has been divorced twice. He has said some very salty words on the campaign trail, in speeches. He's not what a lot of people would think at first blush would motivate a devout evangelical Christian to vote for him. His conversion to being pro-life is fairly recent. His defense of marriage has been at points fairly bold and at points tepid. So what's going on? Let me read to you from portions of this study, because Mitchell wrote something for, I think it was Real Clear Politics. He did an op-ed piece for them, never releasing the poll, by the way. The poll results were so disturbing that they never released the poll. The poll was designed to find out, 1, what contemporary political and religious leaders they liked or disliked, the evangelicals. 2, what issues were important to them, with the emphasis on abortion. 3, other than issues, what else might persuade them to get involved in politics. And 4, who they were demographically. This is the type of a poll that you'd expect. Yes, of course, evangelical Christians are driven by issues. Child killing is the number 1 issue for them. Let's see what we find. The results were fascinating. First, we found out that one of the major religious political figures of the time was very unpopular with evangelicals. In fact, for every evangelical who had a favorable opinion of him, 2 had an unfavorable opinion. The credibility of the survey was validated when we shared this information with one of the major presidential campaigns, and this leader voluntarily stepped down as the spokesperson for the religious right. These words are designed to throw you off the trail, okay? I have an idea or two of who they might be talking about here. Who is this evangelical leader that 1/3 likes and 2/3 don't like? I've got ideas, but we're not sure if they're talking about this was somebody who had endorsed one of the major campaigns, or if it's somebody who was on TV a lot. We don't know. But that's the least of our troubles. Watch this. Second, we found out that abortion was not the prime motivator for evangelical Christians. In fact, of the 400 people we interviewed, about 1/3 were pro-choice. Something we all found surprising, and probably the reason the results of this study were never released to the public. This is so disturbing, but I get it. I know that probably 2/3 of our viewers, I'm guessing 2/3 or 3/4 of our viewers are evangelical Christians. Probably 1/4 are Roman Catholic Christians. And I've been fighting for the lives of unborn babies my entire adult life. I've been arrested almost 50 times for peaceful protest against abortion. I've gone to jail. I've lost my home in lawsuits. I mean, I can show you the scars on my back for my small steps to protect babies from being butchered. And I can tell you from the scriptures and from church history and from church teaching that murder is the worst sin committed on this planet and that abortion is murder, okay? I'm not going to take the time to prove it today on today's show. We've got dozens of shows that have already done that. But suffice to say, murder, the killing, the deliberate killing of an innocent person in a time of peace. Okay, it's not manslaughter, it's not war, it's not an accident, it's murder. Abortion is murder, and it is a sin that cries to God for vengeance. And we used to have good evangelical leaders who catechized or discipled or taught the evangelical body at large this truth. I had a serious evangelical conversion in 1976, September 6, 1976. Jesus found me, I found Christ, whatever you want to say. Jerry Falwell was about to come on the scene. Pat Robertson was on the scene. James Dobson was about to come on the scene. D. James Kennedy. These were like the four horsemen, okay? Billy Graham was a big evangelical name, but he was not strong on the critical social issues of our day. He thought that there were spiritual issues and cultural, political issues. There was a dichotomy there. But these other men, Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson, D. James Kennedy, Jim Dobson, all of them stood, and 3 of them endorsed my first book, had a blurb on the cover. Put that up, show them the cover, okay? This is from, look at this, Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell, D. James Kennedy. And Jim Dobson endorsed me in a radio interview, a radio commercial rather, in my 1998 political run for office when I ran for the U.S. House. I know I have had meals or spent time with, at one level or another, with each of these men, all of them profound Christian leaders of that time, unswerving in their dedication to life. And the Christian world at large got it. And in 1988, in fact, I got to take a break. I'm going to tell you what happened in 1988 at the exit polls after we had spent days in jail, okay? I'm going to tell you a quick little story, but the worst is yet to come on this evangelical poll. And you're going to want to hear it because this is a time when we all need to do just a little bit of soul searching. Don't go away. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas referred to John Locke twice in his dissent in the Obergefell decision. John Locke is referred to as the philosopher of American liberty. He was a genius, and he not only believed in natural law, but he believed in revealed law, the Word of God, the law of God. And he is one of the 2 most influential philosophers on the founders of this republic. We are offering you this book, and I'm going to give you my book as well, The Sword. The Sword, the subtitle is The Blessing of Righteous Government and the Overthrow of Tyrants. It looks at what is the legitimate purpose of government and when is it our right to overthrow government like they did with the Declaration of Independence. We will send you these 2 books if you simply pay for the shipping and handling, $8, and then give whatever else you want. And by the way, the $8 doesn't cover our cost, but if that's all you can afford, we'll send them to you for the $8. God bless you. This is going to be a little bit painful to say. Some people will say, amen, Brother Randall, thank you, and others are going to find it painful for them to hear. In 1988, we were at the Democrat National Convention in Atlanta, Georgia. there were 106 of us, 107 of us arrested for being outside of an abortion mill, sitting down, peacefully praying. We were taken to jail. We spent 3 days in jail, and then it turned into 10 days, and then for some of the people, it turned into 40 days in jail. And then boom, Operation Rescue hit the headlines nationally, front page of the New York Times. Rescues happening all over the country, thousands and thousands of people getting arrested. This is all in the summer and the fall of 1988. On Election Day, 1988, in an ABC poll, an exit poll, showed that the number one issue for Republican voters, number one, was abortion. Number one. Because social protest has a political impact. All the headlines, abortion is murder, we've got to stop the killing of babies. Well, it was Dukakis who was pro-abortion, Bush the elder who said he was pro-life, and the Christian community knew their duty was to protect babies with their vote. All right? But slowly but surely, the rescue movement was crushed by the federal government, especially under Clinton with Reno, Attorney General Reno, and the pro-life movement has never been the same since. Slowly but surely, the pro-life movement has lost its political clout. It has become a part of the establishment. Very few politicians fear the pro-life movement, which they should. So things are bad. And then it occurred to me, there is this secret empathy that evangelical Christians and some Roman Catholic Christians have with women who kill their baby. Please hear this, and then I'm going to take a break. This is going to hurt. I'm telling you ahead of time. I'm telling you ahead of time. We sympathize with women who are killing their babies because we secretly have the same motivation to not have babies, for us to not have babies. A woman kills her baby. I'm not ready for a baby. I just got this job. I don't have a job. I want to go to school. I want some time to get my life in order. Whatever those reasons are. Those are reasons why Christian couples prevent babies, use artificial birth control to not have babies. Abortion is the killing of a baby, and there's this movement inside of the Christian world, which is new. It's only 50 or 80 years old, where Christians are using birth control to push babies away. But it's the same spirit, it's the same motivation. That's why it's hard for so many Christians to be outraged about killing babies, because some of the women have IUDs, or using chemical birth control, which are abortifacients. I told you it was going to be painful. I'll be right back with maybe some other bad news about this poll. I know, this is crazy. It keeps getting worse. Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land, but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're going to run it. No, we're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card, and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. Here's the final disturbing thing that Steve Mitchell released about his poll. Third, we found out what did draw this group toward politics. Strong, decisive leaders, not issues. They got involved in politics for the same reason they got involved with their church, because they were looking for someone to help show them the way. Evangelicals were drawn into politics by messianic leaders. He who has the best preaching wins. In the liturgical world, all right, the sacrament is the center point of the service. In the evangelical world, the preaching of the word, the strong leader from the pulpit, is the centerpiece. And so what we have are Christians following personalities, not following necessarily Christian truth. That's disturbing.